Good afternoon. You know that you are a very special audience because I think one way or another you all like elections. This is something we can't say about every citizen in any country of the world. Well, in my case, it gets even worse. I also like political advertising. It even excites me. Well, I guess it's a professional habit, I could say. And as previously was announced, and yes, indeed, I was doing election campaigns for Reform Party. My last campaign was 2015. I actually remember the day when I was together with the Secretary General submitting the candidates list, and Mr. Arne Koitmäe was sitting next to me, accepting those. So being in a totally different position 8 years later is also interesting to me. So it's actually quite comfortable to be the one who can just talk, have an opinion, and not taking any responsibility anymore. So my role today is to explain you all those different colors of this election campaign that we have seen. Well, nevertheless, the title, I have to say that this has been the least colorful campaign over the years. I believe that the war in Ukraine is the guilty one here because it has kind of overshadowed everything. Therefore, all kinds of surprises and different new methods of campaigning are not even that much expected, maybe. I've also worked, yes, in several countries all over Europe. I think it's more than 16 now, so I have a quite good comparison on also about campaigning here and in other countries. So therefore, I can't say that when it comes to political campaigning, Estonia is one of the most liberal countries in the whole Europe. We can basically do whatever we want here. So, as you heard before, there's no limit on campaign spendings per party or per candidate. Basically, as much as you're able to get, you can spend if you want to. So there's also no limit on donations, meaning if you are able to be very attractive and get those donations, you can also have more advertisement. Of course, you need to report about it. Oh, by the way, it was the first election for me when I ever first time donated for election campaign. It's also another experience because I used to spend the campaign money, so it was my first time I could actually donate. And I think donations to the political parties are actually important because this is another way how you build connections between politicians and citizens so that they take responsibilities together. So all possible advertising methods are allowed that money can buy. Also, you can do campaign that you don't have to pay for, but everything that is on the line of legal, you can do. But, and I guess there is a big question on the line of what's ethical and what's not. So I guess this is where the biggest question marks are. And political propaganda is allowed during pre-election period and on election day. This is actually something new. Something happened. Something new because we used to have 40 days ban on campaigning in outdoors, and it was still there 2 elections ago, last election, but not anymore, which to me back then wasn't a really smart thing anyway, because it only meant that the election campaigns were made longer because politicians didn't stop doing outdoor ads. We just did it 40 days before elections and then took them off and used the money in other mediums. So, but going into the elections we have right now, I've done some translations for you so that we have a very special language in Estonia. We love it. There's only this one bad thing about it is that most other people never get anything. So because of that, I have translated some of the ads for you today. and if the screen will work properly, you might even see them. So, Pro Patria, the Isamaa party, has said there is only one fatherland. And the party's name, Isamaa, also means fatherland. So therefore, they are really going to their core voter there, telling to them that we are here as we have always been and vote for us. So Reform Party has been playing with the symbol of hands, saying that Estonia is in firm hands. It has strong link to defense and security, and also visually, hands of our prime minister, current prime minister, the leader of Reform Party. And what's the controversial thing here, that when Reform Party is saying that we are in firm hands, at the same time, the right-wing extreme party, ekre, tells us that we need to save Estonia. Let's save Estonia. So therefore, looking from the view from the one party, Estonia needs saving, and looking from the other, it says that it's actually safe. Center Party, Bravely for the People, kind of the language they always speak about. They really try to show more empathy, I would say. And the newest party is probably Estonia 200, who was at the elections already in 2019, but then they didn't pass the threshold, and we can still say that they're fairly new, are saying it's possible with us. So they really are using this element of being the new ones. And now they are the new, but also with the latest polls, the new who really will go over the threshold. And the newest founded party is Parempoolsed, which means the ones on the right, is the direct translation of the name, says that they are the voice of reason. And Green Party, Smart Development, kind of makes sense considering where they are. And Social Democrats are saying that self-sufficiency is security. By that, what they want to say that if you get by in your life, that brings you more safety. It has been the most confusing slogan of this campaign, though. Many people are asking, what does it really mean? But let's hope that the core voter of Social Democrats have really understood that. Main topic, well, it's clear, it's defense. And I think it was clear 24th of February 2022 that this will be the main topic of these elections. Defense came into play in Estonian elections already in 2015 parliamentary elections. Why? Because who knows what happened 2014? In Crimea, Putin invaded Crimea. So we were, I would say, mentally affected by it already back then. I remember very well when we had back then old ladies calling to the party office, because I was still doing campaigns back then, crying and asking, is Putin now coming over the bridge of Narva? So the history and the nostalgia element in it, that we have so many people who still remember, or have someone who remembers, or have someone who has experienced, brought us to a totally new level, also in political campaigning, I would say. Because suddenly, money wasn't that important anymore, and security became above it. Well, during the years, maybe it calmed down a little bit, and then we got this very nasty wake-up call a little bit more than a year ago. But another topics on the side of that, but all linked to it, are how to cope with high inflation. Of course, it has affected all areas of life. But nevertheless, I've heard many people from foreign countries saying that your prices are so high, your inflation is so high, still you're donating to Ukraine and people are not on the streets. Like, what's wrong with you? So I guess that's a good example of the true nature of Estonians. We do not want to go back where we were before, and that's one of the reasons why we find our freedom so dear and why we are willing to accept those issues. Of course, it doesn't mean that everybody accepts this. No, it's of course not so unified. But so inflation, cost on energy, and green transition. Today, I would predict that if Putin doesn't bring in another play, then I would predict that green transition will be #1 topic in 4 years. It's kind of starting to boom here, but it's not really there yet, but we'll see. So, another element, patriotism is booming. Again, another thing that's coming from the defense topic. So our national colors are more used than ever before. So as you can see, even Social Democrats, these elections have started using the Estonian national flag. Reform Party has had blue, black, white for quite a long time now. This is Isamaa, the Pro-Patria party. This is the EKRE. Well, everything that they do is in national colors. I actually took that picture myself. It's next to my house. I have to say it's so huge that it's even scary. And on the right corner, there is the bus of Center Party. Center Party hasn't been using much national colors so far. Their color is green. They've been always green or greenish. But what's interesting this year, they have in their outdoor posters background, there is a photo of Estonia in winter. So everyone in Estonia knows it's an important symbol that in the wintertime, our nature shows us our national colors. Sky is the blue, the forest becomes black because there are no leaves, and then the ground is white because of snow. So they have kind of engaged this element into their campaign this time. So all in all, I would say that they're all smart enough to understand what's the one element that works in these elections and is strongly linked to defense. So the big confrontation, Reform Party and Kaja Kallas, the current Prime Minister, and EKRE, and its leader Martin Helme. So these pictures are taken from last week when they had the panel, a debate on the most likely next prime ministers. And I guess if you look at to the picture over there, over the right, then the face of Kaja Kallas is really something that expresses the confrontation between them. That's always there. And for you to understand better, what is the value conflict? What's the main conflict? I'm going to show you 2 video clips. First one is coming from EKRE. It has subtitles in English, so you will be able to understand it, and then the Reform parties will follow with the same way. So let's see the EKRE first.
Liberaalsed parteid tahavad vihakõne seadustega jõustada tsensuuri ning lubada samasooliste abielu koos lapsendamisõigusega. EKRE seisab selle eest, et valitsus ei astuks rahva enamusele vastumeelseid samme. Kaitseme sõnavabadust ega luba kehtestada uut vaikivat ajastut. Kaitseme lapsi sotsiaalsete eksperimentide eest ning hoiame abielu naise ja mehe liiduna. Anname rahvale õiguse algatada referendumeid ja valida presidenti. Päästame Eesti.
So this is how, or this is from what EKRE says they need to save Estonia from. But let's look at the Reform Party's video as well.
Nendel valimistel on kaalul kõige olulisem, Eesti julgeolek. Kas soovid, et Eesti on avatud, sõbralik ja läänemeelne riik? Või moodustavad valitsuse äärmuslased, kellele ei meeldi meie tänane Eesti, kes ei hooli Euroopa Liitu või NATOsse kuulumisest, headest liitlassuhetest ega Ukraina saatusest? Midagi ei ole veel otsustatud. Ainus hääl, mis päriselt loeb, on see, mille annad valimistel. Sinu hääl otsustab, kas järgmise valitsuse moodustab Reformierakond või EKREIKE. Tule valima ja vali Reformierakond, vaid nii on Eesti kindlates kätes.
So this is the big confrontation. One side is painting a really dark picture of Estonia, and another side is saying that it's possible, we're in safe hands, we're an open, modern country. And that's the big divide that we have right now. Of course, what you saw before in Ekre's ad is, to Estonians, there's nothing new, because we've heard this for quite a while now. Also, it's not much new when you look at the most right-wing extreme parties all over Europe against LGTB, protecting own national interest. It's all quite similar, I'd say. And of course, this is everything that doesn't represent the values of Reform Party or Social Democratic Party, or I would say slightly even Centre Party, and definitely not the newest party, Estonian 200. So therefore, this has created a little bit a different kind of environment to the whole campaign. In the old days, let's say, in the past 15 years, it was always so that the two big parties were the Centre Party, Reform Party, always against each other. It was either taxes or the Russia card that was played to create the big divide and tell people choose one or the other. And now this time, it is not the same anymore. It's firstly, the two big giants against each other are different. It is now Reform Party and Ekre. And also, it is not only Reform against them, it's many other parties as well. And many of them have also said that they will never ever go to the same coalition with Ekre, which means that the biggest question today is not so much anymore who's going to win. The main question is who is going to form the next government. So, those chess moments are right now ongoing. And that's why it is so exciting to look at the polls. And those polls in the last week have been driving people totally crazy. But I'm sure the next speakers will talk about that a little bit more. But let's move on. Something new. There's always something new. And I guess this time, when we talk about political advertising, the new has come from Estonia 200 party, Eesti 200, who has really taken the methods of campaigning that's out of the ordinary. So they made this superstar world, I would say, and they say that it is possible with us. Let's look at their ad as well.
Eesti vajab muutust. Eesti 200 on valmis. Uued ideed, uued inimesed. Uus poliitika. Eesti 200 asub võitlema kõikide võimaluste Eesti eest, sest meiega on kõik võimalik. Eesti 200. Riigikogus alates 5. märtsist.
It's very important to note that the last sentence here says at Riigikogu, at the Parliament from 5th of March. So basically, they're already coding us, telling us that we will be there, believe in us. So they really have developed a lot over the 4 years. Their campaign 4 years ago was so bad that no one even noticed. And now they are visible. Another question is if you like it or not, but they are visible also on streets, and they are a serious player now in the whole political playground. They have some more serious stuff as well. I just took the most juicy ones for you. But it was too much to fit into 20 minutes, and since I have only 1 minute left, then I will give you 2-3 thoughts more. Well, this all leads to what? To money. How much they're spending, right? So this view is only about Facebook and Instagram, because that's the information we can catch the easier and the fastest. And from there, you can see that the biggest spenders are Ekre and Reform Party. And I guess I have to say it is a surprise that Ekre is spending so much online, because so far it has been kind of an understanding that their voter is not so much online. But Ekre was kind of, I would say, hiding until 16th of February. And then they really pushed the pedal and started spending a lot of money online, TV, outdoors, everywhere. They are very, very visible all over the country and even more outside of Tallinn. Therefore, a lot of surprises may come from the countrysides. Because we here in Tallinn, we're always in a bubble and think that, this is what's happening here, that's the real thing. It doesn't mean that it really is. Overall, putting 200,000 euros into Facebook and Instagram is a huge amount. It's probably bigger because it doesn't have the last week in it anymore, not yet. So it's even bigger. Of course, parties are spending on other mediums as well, TV advertising, basically everything there is. As I said before, that money can buy, they are using. I'm predicting that the biggest campaigns will be between 1 million to 1.5 million euros. And these are EKRE, Reform Party, and Estonian 200. Rest of them probably will remain a bit under 1 million, and the smaller ones maybe few hundred thousand, sorry. So parties are spending quite a lot, but I have to say that years ago they spent even more. So overall, I think prices have gone up, but spending's not that much. And few last thoughts. Estonian civic society, and not only civic society, but also companies are taking a stance. More and more, we as citizens are trying to kind of activate our friends and colleagues to go out and vote, and companies do that as well. So this one here on the left is actually a burger firm. It's called VLND. Young people who are very well connected to the youth. So they took the responsibility to tell them that please come to vote. So they have gathered about 5-6 known persons who tell them why it is important to go to vote. So this one here is Estonian Debating Association, I guess. And together with some think tanks like Praxis, they are doing Smart Voters campaign. Again, telling people to go to vote. And then this one is SALK. SALK was created about, I don't know, was it like 4 years ago or something, or 3 years ago, exactly against what EKRE was doing. So it was created to help the LGBT community in Estonia when they wanted to make a marriage between men and women into constitution. It was about to become a referendum. So that was what pushed it. But they have continued, and now they are overall making ads and investing quite a lot into it to tell people it is very important to go and vote. Currently, what's going on, it's called mobilization. In American campaigning terms, it's GOTV, get out the vote. So that's what's happening right now. And these two from the left, that's Reform Party's ad from online, and from the right, it's EKRE's ad. Well, they basically look similar. And they even talk about the same thing. So the left is saying nothing is decided, last polls show EKRE is in lead, Reform Party is the only one who can beat them, vote. And they're saying, poll shows winning depends on few votes only, come to vote for sure. You will save our country from Reform Party strangling hands by choosing better future and voting for EKRE. So that's very typical in Estonian campaigns, that in the end everybody starts using the numbers that coming from the polls, saying that a little bit more, we only need your vote. It is possible to win, you just need to go and vote now. So that's typical activation. So that's it. I'll leave you to think about it with the photo that I got from the Estonian newspaper Postimees this morning, which was very powerful, I would have to say, because this really describes emotionally that big confrontation that we have in these elections. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Annika. We are a bit short of time, but anyway, any questions? Yes, please.
Foreign donations. Are parties allowed to take foreign donations?
No. That's illegal. No, nothing for foreigners. If you donate to a party, you need to identify yourself with an ID code, and then parties need to report it. And also, if you do individual spendings as a candidate, you also need to report it. Otherwise, it's illegal. You will be in trouble.
Yeah. As well as legal entities, legal persons are not allowed to donate, so you have to be a physical person with Estonian citizenship. Yeah. Other questions?
Everything was clear.
Not for now.
Thank you.
Probably later on. Thank you, Annika.